Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor from 161 to 180 AD, the last of what history calls the Five Good Emperors. He held one of the most powerful roles in the ancient world. Surrounded by wealth, influence, and endless political scheming, he could have easily slipped into pride or bitterness. But instead, he chose to show virtue, be fair. That choice is why he's remembered as one of the great Stoic philosophers. During his reign, he kept a private journal, later known as the Meditations. But these weren't actually meant for anyone else, they were just notes to himself. In them, he worked through practical ways to master his own thoughts and emotions. He reminded himself to keep a broad, almost cosmic perspective, and to examine his own judgments before reacting to others. Even while facing wars, betrayals, and the crushing weight of leadership, Marcus leaned on Stoic ideas to stay steady and avoid being ruled by anger or insult. At the heart of Stoicism is a simple truth. Peace of mind doesn't depend on what others say or do. It comes from how we choose to see and respond. Other people's words and actions are outside of our control. Our response is always ours. In this video, we'll explore 7 lessons from Marcus Aurelius on staying balanced and not taking things too personally. Number 1. Expect the worst. Marcus Aurelius says, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." The Stoics had a habit they called premeditatio malorum, literally the premeditation of evils. We often call it negative visualization. At first it sounds gloomy, but for Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics, it was a way to stay steady when life or people turned harsh. Marcus would start his mornings by reminding himself that today I will meet people who are grateful, arrogant, deceitful, jealous, or selfish. But he wasn't trying to sour his mood. Rather, he was preparing his mind. By picturing different encounters before they happened, he made them less surprising, and because of that, less powerful. If someone insulted him during the day, he'd already met that insult in his imagination. So he could say to himself, here it is, I expected this, and keep his calm. And this really is the heart of negative visualization. Quietly picturing challenges before they arrive so you can respond by choice instead of shock. It isn't about expecting disaster or sinking into worry, it's about rehearsing reality. People will misunderstand you. Some will criticize you unfairly. Someone will cut you off in traffic or drive as if no one else exists. Others will show no civic sense at all, pushing ahead in line, littering, ignoring basic courtesy. By facing those possibilities in your own mind first, you loosen their hold over you. You can try this in small ways. Before a meeting or a difficult talk, take a minute alone. Imagine someone dismissing your idea or questioning your work. Notice the sting. Then picture yourself breathing and letting their words land without letting them define you. See yourself answering calmly, or simply letting the comment pass. Finally, picture walking away with your self-respect intact. The benefits are quiet, but strong. First, you're less likely to be caught off guard. Criticism feels familiar, almost ordinary. Second, you learn that your peace doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. Their words belong to them, not to you. And third, you focus on what you can control: your own character, your response, your next action. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, faced betrayals, and heard constant criticism, yet he kept returning to this practice. So if it can help him stay balanced in a world far harsher than ours, it can certainly help us too. So spend a few minutes each morning or evening imagining the harsh words you might hear tomorrow. When they arrive, you'll soon recognize them, and you'll already know how you want to stand. Number 2. Understand that people's actions reflect themselves, not you. According to Marcus Aurelius, when someone does wrong, it's because of their ignorance, not because of you. Marcus often reminds himself in meditations that people act according to their own nature, their habits, and the limits of their understanding. When someone criticizes you, lies about you, or behaves rudely, that behavior is a mirror of their character and their current state of mind, not a verdict on your worth. He writes that when someone does wrong, it's out of ignorance. Ignorance of what is good, of what is just, or of what is truly beneficial for them. Think about the last time someone snapped at you in traffic or left a hurtful comment online. In the moment, it feels personal. But if you pause, you'll see it likely had more to do with their stress, their upbringing, their own disappointments, or their own lack of perspective than with you. Their actions are a reflection of their inner world. When we forget this, we hand strangers and acquaintances unnecessary power over our emotions. We start to believe that their judgments define us. But their words and deeds can only wound us if we grant them that permission. So Marcus urges us to remember that no one can truly harm your character unless you join in the harm by reacting with anger, bitterness, or resentment. This understanding frees you. Instead of feeling attacked, you can view another person's outburst or criticism almost like bad weather, something that simply is. You wouldn't take a thunderstorm as an insult, you'd just take shelter and move on. And the same is true here. Practicing this perspective also opens the door to compassion. Imagine you're at the grocery store and someone snaps at you for no reason. Maybe you reached for the same item or your cart blocked the aisle for a moment. Your first reaction might be to snap back. But pause for a second. That person might be carrying something heavy. Maybe they just lost a job, got bad news from the doctor, or are worried about a sick child. Their sharp words reveal their own stress and pain, not your worth. Recognizing that their behavior is about them, not you, lets you stay calm or even offer kindness instead of adding more heat. You might simply step aside, smile, or say no problem and move on. So, when you run into rudeness or unfair treatment, whether it's a driver cutting you off, or a co-worker speaking harshly, or a stranger's angry outburst, pause and remind yourself that this is their nature, their view, their storm, not my truth. Their actions tell you about who they are, not who you are. The insult only sticks if you decide to carry it. Number 3. You control your response, not their action. Marcus Aurelius puts it simply: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius ruled one of the largest empires in history, and his daily life was far from peaceful. He faced political betrayal from trusted friends, invasions along the borders, and a deadly plague that killed thousands. Senators plotted against him, allies turned away, and entire provinces slipped into chaos. Yet, when you read his private journal, now known as Meditations, you don't see anger or self-pity. Instead, you find steady reminders to himself. I cannot control their actions. I can only control how I respond. When a general failed him, Marcus chose justice and patience over rage. When crowds blamed him for famine or disease, he focused on solving the problem rather than striking back. These notes weren't speeches for the public, they were personal exercises to keep his own mind steady. This discipline rests on a central Stoic idea called the dichotomy of control. The principle is simple but powerful. Some things are fully in your control: your thoughts, your choices, and the meaning you attach to events. Everything else, other people's moods, their insults, the twists of fortune, belong to the outside world. Sometimes you can influence these things, but you cannot command them. Imagine a colleague takes credit for your work in a meeting. Your first instinct might be to snap or stew in anger, but their decision is already made. You can't undo it. What you can do is decide whether to stay calm, speak the truth later, or let your steady performance speak for itself. Or think of a driver who cuts you off in traffic. You can't control their behaviour, but you can decide whether to lean on the horn and carry that frustration all day, or take a breath, notice that you arrived safely, and let it go. Marcus warned that when you react without thought, when you let someone else's behaviour dictate your mood, you hand them control of your inner life. The insult, the betrayal, the reckless driver, none of these can truly harm you unless you allow them to. This isn't about being numb. It's about understanding that your mind is like a fortress. Its walls are built from your ability to pause, think, and choose. Anger might knock at the gate, grief might pass by. You notice them, but you decide whether they come inside. If someone insults you, it's normal to feel that first sting of anger or hurt. But instead of reacting immediately, pause and let the emotion settle. Then choose what makes sense. Maybe you reply in a calm, steady voice if a response is needed. Maybe you say nothing at all and let the moment pass. By stopping to choose, you stay in charge of yourself instead of letting the other person decide how you feel or act. So next time something provokes you, take a single full breath and ask yourself, is this within my control? Their action? No. Your response? Yes. So put your effort only where it matters. You can't govern the outside world, but you can always govern the world within, and that is a power no one can take from you. Number 4. Understand that everything is fleeting. Marcus Aurelius invites us to consider how swiftly all things are swept along and disappear. Things animate and inanimate. The substance of the world is change, and the life of it is time. A flood, a rushing stream. All that is born of the earth returns to the earth, and all that springs from heaven returns again to the heavenly spheres. Marcus constantly reminded himself that all things pass. He ruled an empire, yet he knew that every triumph, every failure, even Rome itself, would eventually fade. In Meditations, he writes about the endless cycle of birth and death, how the famous and the forgotten both vanish, how the names of once great leaders are barely remembered a generation later. This perspective kept him humble when praised and calm when criticized. When a senator spread rumors or when crowds shouted blame, he would remind himself how huge time really is. The great empires that existed before Rome and the many people who would live after him. In that big picture, their harsh words felt tiny and short-lived. Think about it. The people who offend you today will one day be gone, just as you will. Their words, their judgment, even your own strong feelings about them will dissolve. And the same is true of praise. Compliments that once thrilled you, do they matter now? Yesterday's victories, yesterday's embarrassment, all of that slips into the same quiet past. So seeing life through this lens can soften almost any sting. If someone insults you, pause and imagine the scene from far away. A year from now, will this matter? 10 years? 100? Likely, it will be nothing more than a forgotten moment in a forgotten day. Ask yourself, will this still matter when I'm gone? Because when faced with that question, most troubles shrink immediately. When you see how brief every moment is, you can let go of petty worries and enjoy the present without clinging. Praise, blame, misunderstanding, they're all just passing clouds. You're only here for a short time, so live it lightly and let what's fleeting pass. Number 5. See yourself as part of a larger whole. To quote Marcus Aurelius, "All things are interwoven, and the bond is holy. Nothing is foreign to the whole." Marcus often reminded himself that he was just a small part of a vast, orderly universe. Even as emperor, he knew he wasn't the center of everything, and the way others react didn't define him. In Stoic thinking, the universe is like a living body, guided by reason, and each person is a part of it, playing their own role, whether they realize it or not. To explain this, Marcus compares people to parts of the body. Each person is like a hand, a foot, or an organ. Just as a hand sometimes fumbles or a foot trips, people make mistakes. One part failing doesn't give the others a reason to hate it. Likewise, when someone misbehaves or insults us, it's not a personal attack. They're simply acting from their own knowledge, limits, and circumstances. Getting angry at other people's mistakes usually hurts us more than anyone else. Marcus compares it to the left hand hating the right hand. The body suffers from conflict, but nothing is gained. When we take offense at another person, we give away our calm and let outside forces control our mind. In daily life, this shows up everywhere. A colleague misses a deadline, a partner forgets something, or a stranger is rude online. Our first reaction may be irritation or anger. From a Stoic perspective, these moments are chances to remind ourselves that the person is like a foot out of step, not a personal attack. We can choose patience, pause before reacting. Think of the situation as part of a larger system, and remember that everyone, including ourselves, makes mistakes. When you see yourself as part of a larger whole, mistakes and slights feel less personal. You become less reactive, more compassionate, and better able to focus on what really matters, instead of being caught up in minor frustrations. Number 6. Focus on your own virtue. Marcus Aurelius teaches, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. What happens beyond that is beyond your concern." For the Stoics, the only true good is virtue. Our own character, judgments, and actions. Everything outside of this, other people's opinions, insults, mistakes, or even praise, is indifferent. Marcus reminded himself that no one can harm his virtue. It exists entirely within his own control. This insight is powerful because it frees the mind from unnecessary disturbance. If someone criticizes you, mocks you, or behaves unfairly, their words or actions cannot touch your inner goodness unless you allow them to. This perspective also invites a practical shift. Challenges and offenses aren't threats, they're opportunities. A criticism, a harsh remark, or a difficult situation becomes a chance to exercise patience, understanding, or detachment. For example, if a coworker unfairly blames you for a mistake, instead of reacting with anger, you can see it as training for patience. If a friend says something hurtful, you can practice compassion by remembering that their comment reflects on their own struggles, not your worth. As the Stoics say, the obstacle on the path becomes the path. Within every difficulty lies an opportunity to improve. So next time you face judgment online, workplace tension, or criticism from loved ones, pause and ask yourself, how can I act virtuously in response? You might choose to respond calmly, clarify the truth, or simply let it go without internalizing negativity. Journaling or reflecting on these moments can strengthen your ability to see challenges as training rather than threats. By focusing on your own virtue, you reclaim the only thing you truly control: your character. External events, other people's behavior, and fleeting opinions cannot harm you unless you allow them to. Number 7. Reflect on your day. In our final quote from Marcus Aurelius for this video, he says, "These are the characteristics of the rational soul: self-awareness, self-examination, and self-determination. It reaps its own harvest. It succeeds in its own purpose." Marcus Aurelius made it a habit to reflect on his day every evening. He would quietly review his actions and thoughts, asking himself questions like, did I let someone's words disturb my calm? Did I respond with patience and reason, or did I react from anger or pride? How can I do better tomorrow? He didn't do this to punish himself or dwell on mistakes, but to learn and to grow. Criticism often triggers strong emotions. A colleague might blame you unfairly, a friend might say something hurtful, or a stranger might judge you online. Our instinct is usually to defend ourselves, to feel hurt, or to push back angrily. Aurelius's reflection practice helps you step back and see criticism in perspective. You begin to notice that criticism, even when harsh or unjust, doesn't actually harm your character. Only your response to it can. For example, imagine your boss criticizes a report you worked hard on. In the moment, you might feel frustrated or offended, but later, reflecting on it calmly, you can ask yourself, was this personal? Did it challenge my virtue or just my pride? Could I have used this as a chance to improve, learn, or respond more patiently? By examining these moments, you train your mind to treat criticism as information rather than as an attack. Take 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the day to quietly review moments when you felt criticized, judged, or challenged. Ask yourself, what did I handle well? Where did my emotions get in the way? How could I respond more thoughtfully next time? Writing your thoughts down in a journal helps you notice patterns, track progress, and reinforce the habit of calm reflection. Over time, daily reflection changes how you see criticism. You stop taking it as an attack. Instead of reacting right away, you stay calm. Marcus Aurelius faced blame, betrayal, and the stress of ruling an empire, yet stayed steady. If he could stay calm through that, we can train our minds to meet criticism with the same peace. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out our full Philosophies for Life playlist, and for more videos to help you find success and happiness using beautiful philosophical wisdom, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.